Hi, my name is Meir Yossef Levi, and I'll be presenting our paper, The Double-Ellipsoid Geometry of Clip, a collaborative research with Professor Gilboa, Technion, Israel. Clip is a widely used method for embedding images and text into a shared latent space. Despite its popularity and success across many applications, the geometric structure of this latent space remains poorly understood. In this paper, our goal is to shed light on the underlying geometry spanned by Clip. Let's begin with some known observations about Clip's latent space. The first one is the modality gap, where Clip embeds images and text into a separate and disjoint regions, and the second one is the narrow cone effect, where each modality spans only a small angular region. Until our study, the geometry Clip span in latent space is considered to be of a unit hypersphere. Why? Since the loss that Clip was trained on consists of L2 normalization as part of the cosine similarity calculation. However, we decided to analyze the features before normalization and found something surprising. Each modality forms its own ellipsoid. The separation between these ellipsoids explains the modality gap, and their offset from the origin may account for the narrow cone effect. We decided to analyze prior to the normalization phase for several reasons. First, it's best to study the geometry as early in the process as possible. Second, projection through normalization is aggressive. It reduces information and we want to retain as much as we can. And third, the norm actually matters. It's shown in this figure. We plot MS COCO captions by their feature norm. Captions with high norms tend to be odd and irregular. This suggests that the norm itself carries meaningful semantic information. So what did we find about Clip's geometry? First, while it's known that image and text lie on a separate subspaces, we show that even using just two dimensions, what we call tag features, we can perfectly separate them. Second, features are arranged in a thin shell. They have roughly the same norm relative to their modality mean. Third, we find that the embedding form ellipsoids, not hyperspheres. This is because some features have very high variance relative to others. Fourth, the ellipsoids are tilted. Their covariance matrices have strong off-diagonal values. And finally, the modality means are not centered at the origin. Each ellipsoid is shifted in space. Another key observation we introduce is what we call conformity. It's a way to estimate how popular a sample is based on its average cosine similarity with all other samples in a set. Geometrically, it works like this. Take a sample, measure its cosine similarity with this one, and this one, and this, and so on for the entire set, then average them all. In the paper, we prove that this average similarity is proportional to a much simpler expression. Instead of comparing every pair, we can just average all the samples to get the modality mean and compute the cosine similarity of each sample to this modality mean. This reveals a clear insight. Common concepts lie near the modality mean, while rare ones are pushed farther away. We conducted the following experiment. We measured the loss as we gradually shifted one modality, say image or text, toward the origin. What we found is that Clip's original configuration already optimizes the trade-off between alignment and uniformity. As we push the ellipsoid toward the center, the loss for correctly classified pairs continues to decrease. However, the loss for misclassified pairs increases. And these two effects balance out precisely at the point where Clip naturally converges. Interestingly, we also observed that the conformity distributions of image and text align best at this same position, suggesting that the modality gap may be the Clip's way of balancing conformity between the two domains. Why it is beneficial for the ellipsoids not to be centered at the origin? We found that without this shift, Clip cannot effectively control how common or unique a sample is. In the left plot, where the ellipsoid is centered, we compare the cosine similarity distributions of a mean vector and an extreme vector, and they look almost the same. But in the right plot, with a shifted ellipsoid, we see clear separation. As the ellipsoid shifted more, clip gains the ability to dedicate different regions of the space, one for common themes and another for unique or rare concepts. One practical use of the conformity measure is in evaluating the diversity of generative models. In this example, we compare several captioning and text-to-image generation models. We found that conformity serves as a strong indicator of how diverse a generated set is, and how closely it resembles real image or captions. Thank you.